Excuse me. Hello. Today's video will be about, is D&D a bad mystery game? I deduce that it is. Seriously though, is D&D a good RPG system for running mysteries? My opinion is no. Now D&D does action really well. It's great for battles, it's great for chases. I don't think, however, it's great for investigative mysteries. So was I surprised when Wizards of the Coast released a mystery-based adventure module? A little. I think it was a bold move. D&D doesn't have a fail-forward mechanic like Blades in the Dark or Powered by the Apocalypse or dozens of other games. That means if you fail an important skill roll to make a deduction or find a clue, you're stopped in your tracks. There's no moving forward from that failure. Puzzles are already considered a bit of a non-starter in D&D, which is funny because they're baked into the core philosophy of the game. But I know countless dungeon masters who have had their players hit a dead end with a puzzle and end up frustrated. It's frustrating for the DM too. And there are workarounds, like always leave a second path that doesn't involve the puzzle. Now, I think it's forgivable to run into a dead end with a puzzle. That can make sense story-wise, but if your entire campaign is based on a mystery and the investigation runs into dead end after dead end, it's inevitably gonna leave you and your players frustrated. I'm not the first person to bring up these gripes with Dungeons and Dragons and puzzles and mysteries. One of my favorite game designers and theorists, Robin Laws, wrote an entire system called Gumshoe because he wasn't happy with the way that D&D and most RPGs run mysteries. Robin's philosophy on running a mystery in a game is that finding the clues is not the interesting part. It's what you deduce from the clues that you do find. Gumshoe gives players clues automatically, but lets them draw the conclusions on where to go next. It lets clues lead from one scene to another. That way players never find a dead end and never have a dull moment in the investigation. Now don't get me wrong, I love D&D, I love mysteries. I've had a lot of fun running mystery campaigns for my D&D groups. I've also had a lot of mystery campaigns devolve or break down in the first few sessions and never work out. I too have felt the dead ends and the bad pacing and the frustration. Now, I'm not saying don't ever run any mysteries in your D&D campaign. I think Candlekeep Mysteries is a really cool idea for a module, and I'm excited to play it. I think great writing can make up for some of the shortcomings that D&D has. I'm actually just waiting for my local game store to give me a call and tell me that I can come pick up my new copy.
2 hours later.
So I can't stop thinking about my D&D mystery dilemma, and my copy of Candlekeep Mysteries still isn't here yet. So now I don't know what to do with myself, and I've just been combing my bookshelf. But it's starting to give me ideas, which makes me want to propose an experiment. I already have a group of my players scheduled to play a one-shot from Candlekeep Mysteries tonight, since it is release day, and we're gonna play it in 5th edition as it was intended. But what if I tried to run 2 more mysteries, maybe with different systems and settings that I think will work better for mysteries? Now this is kind of an out there idea. It means I have to run 3 adventures from Candlekeep Mysteries, which I'm fine with, but it also means I'm gonna have to be doing a lot of hacking, searching, maybe learning some new systems. So I've been looking at the bookshelf and trying to decide what systems and settings am I gonna use. It's hard to choose which games because most games that were designed to run mysteries don't do action well. So if I run an adventure from Candlekeep Mysteries that ends up being action-based, it might turn out really poorly if I pick the wrong system. Mystery games also don't handle medieval fantasy very well, or most of them just aren't set in that setting. I think the biggest question is, will these mysteries be able to be separated from D&D? Will they work with other systems? How much D&D is really baked in? But the adventures are advertised as working in any setting or time periods. So again, it's just like, what systems do I use? Well, I do have a few ideas. One of the first systems that came to mind was Savage Worlds. Savage Worlds is a really good system. It does a lot of what D&D does, maybe just with a little twist. And it also finds a better balance between storytelling mechanics and action-based mechanics. Savage Worlds can do medieval fantasy, and it has a toolkit of essentially mini games or mini systems that help you run the other pillars of roleplay. Now, if I did decide to do Savage Worlds for one of these adventures, it wouldn't be the first time I've run D&D modules with Savage Worlds. Now, Gumshoe that I mentioned earlier is really straightforward and a favorite for mysteries. All of the Gumshoe systems I've looked through don't handle medieval fantasy as their core setting. So if I do use a Gumshoe system, I will probably have to change the setting. Whoa, okay, this is kind of awesome. I didn't think there was any gumshoe systems that ran medieval fantasy, but someone made a gumshoe hack for Pathfinder. It's called Lore Finder. It's actually pretty well written, and that's kind of the beauty of the gumshoe system. It's just a basic system for investigating and solving mysteries, right? So that can drop into any other RPG. I think I'm going to use this instead of Savage Worlds. Pathfinder is close enough to 5th edition that this is going to slot right in almost the exact same way it would in Pathfinder. I think it's going to work really well with 5e. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of trying to hack up 5e to make that system do things it wasn't intended for. That's usually not my thing, but the way this is written is really nice. It's almost more like a framework of game master prep that creates clues that lead from scene to scene, the way Gumshoe was intended to do, while retaining pretty much all of the original rules in addition to that. Now, I know some of you are probably at home screaming Call of Cthulhu at the screen because Call of Cthulhu is a great mystery game. Unfortunately, I've never run Call of Cthulhu, and I don't even own a copy of it, even though I consider myself a fan. Don't worry, the situation's already been rectified. Last week I had my local game store order the 7th edition books for me, and they should be here any day. I'm not going to use Call of Cthulhu as a system for this particular experiment. I'm going to save that system for a whole nother video. It's something I've been wanting to dive into for years, and what better time than now. Fate deserves an honorable mention here. I love the Fate system. I have a bunch of the supplements and toolkits. I used to play it all the time and I haven't ran it in a while, so that is one I'm considering. Now, Monster of the Week is a favorite of mine, and it's great for running modern adventures. Maybe one of my favorite systems, and the system that really finally sunk the hook on Powered by the Apocalypse games for me. If you don't know what Powered by the Apocalypse games are, we will talk about this at length in a future video. Now, Monster of the Week is a brilliant game. It's a ton of fun to play. The players always love it, and it's based around investigative mysteries and monster killing. It sounds like D&D with mysteries, right? Well, it's probably closer to X-Files or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but there's a definite crossover there. I don't think you really have to hack much at all to adapt one of the Candlekeep mysteries to a modern setting to play in Monster of the Week. Look who's calling, yes! Hello? This is he? It's in? Okay, yep, we'll be right there. All right, thank you, bye. All right, Candlekeep Mysteries is here, let's go. Look what I got. It's here. It's time to read through this sucker. But first, let's talk about the final 2 systems and settings I've decided to use for our little mystery experiment. So we're gonna use Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition as it was intended in Forgotten Realms for this first adventure. The second one, we're still gonna use 5e, but we're gonna use the Lore Finder hack to see how that plays out. I think it might be an improvement on D&D. It seems like it'll be a lot of fun. So Lore Finder will be number 2. And the last one I'm gonna run with Monster of the Week. I love this system too much, it's too fun, and I think it'll be really fun to see how a Candlekeep mystery adventure adapts to a modern setting. I'm really curious to know what y'all think, so please let me know in the comments below if there's any systems you think that I should have mentioned, settings I should have mentioned, or games that you think would fit really well into this experiment. I'll be posting a video of each mystery as we play it over the next 3 weeks, and a follow-up video to summarize and compare my results at the end. So make sure to like and subscribe if you want to keep up with the experiment and see how things go. Thanks for watching. It's time for me to go and study, so I'll see you all next time.